Welcome to this special episode of the APL Pulse podcast called You and I. We will peek behind the curtain and uncover the human side of logistics. Let's explore how we connect our people, culture, and community to build a better world of work. Well, hello, everyone. I'm your host, April Chapman. I'm happy to be joined by my guest today, Lamont Nelson. He is our Director of Diversity and Inclusion here at APL Logistics. Lamont leads the people strategy and employee experiences, and he has over 25 years of experience overseeing HR functions in multiple organizations. So Lamont is starting up multiple employee resource groups for our employees to connect, and he's making sure that everyone has a seat at the table. Today, Lamont actively promotes a culture of belonging and inclusion and builds a workspace that you and I love. So Lamont, thank you so much for joining me. I feel privileged to call you friend, and I'd love our listeners to learn a little more about you. What would you like to share about yourself?
Oh, wow. Well, again, Lamont Nelson. It's weird doing this with you because we have been together for quite some time, the last month and a half that we spend a lot of time. So I feel like we're having a conversation today. So it's great. A little awkward, but it's great. A little bit about myself, April. I'm originally from Chicago. I spent pretty much 35 years of my life in Chicago. A great opportunity came with FedEx that moved me to Atlanta, promotional opportunity. From there, pretty much joined various organizations. Throughout my career, it's just been great of great companies I've been working with, people like UPS, FedEx, and Staples, some big time companies that really get that experience that prepared me for this moment. I've been married 23 years. I have two fur babies, Chance and Barack. Pretty much love golfing. I love jazz. I love traveling. And the biggest thing is I love helping people, and I love seeing people grow and develop themselves into great human beings.
I definitely see that about you. So Lamont, we were talking about how you were in HR for 25 years. What was it that kind of said, you know what, I want to make this transition into this D&I field? Like what passion was behind that? What kind of led you to it?
Wow, it was interesting you say that because I dealt with so many people from different walks of life, especially coming from the Midwest and transitioning to the South. That was real great for me to get to see how people live in various places. But I think the thing that prepared me probably the most, April, probably because when I was in Chicago, I had the privilege of doing a lot of community outreach. And one of the things I was able to do is coach Chicago Public League basketball, as well as I did coach a little bit of college. But the thing that stood out the most that really let me know I was doing the right thing and living by faith in it was more so when I coached at Finger, probably one of the roughest public schools in Chicago that you could teach at. I didn't want the opportunity, but a good friend of mine, former Secretary of Education, Artie Duncan, who was the CEO of Chicago Public Schools, said, I think that might be a good fit for you. I'm like, okay. So I stepped out in faith and did it. The moment that I knew I was doing the right thing on top of the community outreach and as well as HR, I had a team that was real. These guys come from single family homes, really no guidance from any male figure, people. And I was like, man, why these guys are so, got a lot of anxiety, a lot of bitterness in them. Even to a point, even after we won games, just never found peace. So you know how before you prepare for practice, you get everyone to huddle. So I started telling them, hey, guys, we're going to do this. We're going to go through these trends, plays. And I just want to tell you guys from the bottom of my heart, I love you. And when I said it for the first time, April, complete silence. No one said nothing. You thought I never even said it. So next day come, I said, hey, guys, we're going to go through these drills. We're going to shoot free throws. I'm going to tell you guys from the bottom of my heart, I love you. Again, April, silence. So the third day, I'm frustrated, April. I'm like, you know what? This exercise ain't working. They're not listening to me. So I say, hey, guys, we're just going to go through some shooting drills. We're going to do some running, some scrimmages. And I broke the huddle. And one kid, I never forget his name, Sinatra Peter, said, Coach, no man has ever told us they love us. To the point I had to walk away from the practice because I know that feeling of someone saying they love you. Thank God I had a wonderful grandfather who's a class act, and as well as a father who people call a stepdad, but I call him my father because he stepped up to the plate. Doing that experience showed me that I got a lot to give to people. They say services are the rent you pay for life. And I felt that was something that I wanted to do, help people and do more for them. It inspired me to be where I'm at today and to help others in their pursuit of understanding that you can be in a position with purpose but no purpose.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing it with us.
It's still emotional to this day. And that story, April, probably about 20 years old. believe it or not, but it's still emotional to talk about it because it's still almost to this day, that a lot of kids don't feel that someone really cares about them and love them.
Right. And the power of just being the person who's willing to say it. And,
yeah, I stepped out in faith. You're right about that.
Yeah, just wonderful. Oh, I love you even more now. Okay, let's talk about some of the projects that we have recently been involved with. So recently we did the Ideathon. So let's share with our audience what that was about, because that was an idea that kind of came from you.
Yeah, April, the Ideathon. Remember, it started from a hackathon and we changed the Ideathon. It came from a conversation just at the time when I was the chair of the ARG and having conversations with Eric Lee. And it was just more so, how can we do it? The biggest scope of it was we was trying to do it to recruit kids from various diverse backgrounds and brought some attraction to it because we're still growing, even though we're a global organization. So, of course, it led to a lot of conversations. Then as time went on, led me to you, to the things that you bring to the table and others that we brought along to push this vision. Overseeing the internship program from last year, I was able to build some great relationships with a lot of deans of schools as well as presidents. Our internship program only stayed in one place. It never really branched out. So we were able to connect with Prairie View A&M, which is one of our flagship HBCU schools, and connect with Citadel. We're dealing with Dr. Williams, which is the first African-American dean of Citadel. And he was able to connect us to Clafton University. So with that, we were able to working closely with Microsoft and getting judges and getting the mentoring. I mean, just so much goes on behind logistics. People don't realize. I was grateful that I was able to frame it up and have others like you paint the picture. We had over 40 participated between all three schools and dealing with the data innovation challenge, creating more sustainability, supply chains. You guys did an awesome job. I mean, April, we did it virtually from 2 different campuses and pulled it off with various people that helped out, especially with the leadership of Akan, even Jamal and Fabio, Frank and Kevin. Yeah.
There are so many people. It took a village, and it's awesome because it was so fun. It was a weekend event. And for those who don't do ideathons or hackathons, it's like a 48-hour kind of thing where these students all have to solve problems. And we gave them problems that were in our industry, supply chain and sustainability. And so it was just really fun to connect with the students in person.
Absolutely.
And it looks like it's something that we're going to keep up and keep going.
And the thing that stood out the most, that was phenomenal for me, was how many women engineers that I saw with different diverse backgrounds. That made me feel so good just to see the women that were involved with engineering, minority women. It was awesome. That really humbled me. You can't count people out not realizing that there's some great minds out here. So that was just great for me.
Yeah, change is coming and I love it.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, so we got to do the Ideathon, which led to, opportunities for internships. And that's an exciting program. And thanks for doing that as well, because I got to benefit from having an intern last year and it was amazing. So we have a good habit of turning our interns into people who want to stick around.
That's awesome. Glad to see them on board.
Yep. Okay. So next month is going to be the mental health awareness. What are your plans with that?
I'm trying to bring in 2 psychiatrists or counselors to come in and talk about mental health month and really have it about to the point of we just coming where we're still in COVID, talking about how people dealt with working from home, how people dealt with homeschooling, how people dealt with just affecting it for people that lost people during COVID and how did it affect them to this day, and people that overcame COVID symptoms and still trying to have work-life balance and deal with that. And I think it's something that needs to be addressed. I don't think it's something that we can keep in the closet because we just never know what someone's going through and what's in their mind and how they find peace of mind. You don't know what a person went through because when we went into such an isolated mode, that was time being still. And due to the fact that was time being still, you have a lot of idle time to rethink about things and how you look at things and how you're going to move forward. But for some people, that may have been a little detrimental because they were used to being interactive, being out, and being able to go somewhere and things like that. And then on top of it, people had balance if they were going to get the vaccination or not. That was a lot to deal with, a lot of anxiety. And I just wanted to have someone come in and give people different exercises they could probably do within their life and just give them some words of encouragement, some things they can do, how they can move forward. And that just close to my heart because I think we ignore that more than everything. I think we were caught on the variance, but not dealing with the mental aspect of it. And I want our employees to know that someone is thinking about that consciously and really want to see people get help.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. I'm such an advocate for that. I don't know if you know my daughter, she has some mental health issues. I've spoken before about how it's so important to bring them up to the surface and be able to acknowledge those. So many people try and just push it down.
Yes.
And it's just not healthy. It's toxic. You just got to bring it up and you got to deal with them. And I think that having a focus and doing that is awesome. So thanks for doing that. Personally, I'm very supportive of that. Okay, so we have a lightning round. Okay, so this means that I'm going to ask you some quick questions and you're going to give me some short replies and people will get to know you just a smidge bit more. Okay?
Okay.
So Lamont, what's your favorite time of the day?
Morning.
Not mine. Introvert or extrovert?
Believe it or not, I'm an introvert. People probably be surprised by that.
It's hard when you're in roles that make you extrovert, right? Text or phone call? What do you prefer?
I'd rather pick up the phone. I want to hear your voice. I'm a phone person.
Okay. Everyone take note of that. And then if you could have dinner with anyone, who would it be?
I probably would say Nelson Mandela. My reason is because anyone that can spend 27 years in prison for trying to have peace of a divided country and stand up for human rights and equality in a system of apartheid, and to come out and be the president after serving 27 years and be humble to let that go and not hold it all, suppress all that anger, it speaks volumes about his character. I mean, I probably wouldn't know what to ask. Like, how did you do it? How did you, with everything that was coming at you, and you still was able to hold your head up and keep your face?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You could be anywhere in the world right now. Where would you be?
I would say Ghana because of its deep history. Great, vibrant culture, friendly place. A lot of equality there. That's a place. And the other thing I read about them in books is a diverse wildlife. You can see anything there. And it's unspoiled nature. I would love to venture and see that.
That would be wonderful. And my last question for you, which basketball team do you root for?
If you say NBA, I would say the San Antonio Spurs because I like Greg Popovich, the coach. He's a servant leader. He creates a great culture, and he speaks out. One of the few NBA coaches that speak out about social injustice. So I have a lot of respect for what he does, for being able to take that courage and have commitment to human rights. College-wise, I will say it was John Thompson. He used to be the head coach at Georgetown University. I don't know if you had a chance to see a story about the basketball player, Allen Iverson, who was a star player down in Hampton, Virginia. Unfortunately, he got into trouble and got out of being incarcerated. No one would take a chance. John Thompson took the chance on that kid, and kid ended up being a success, an icon in the NBA.
Wow. That's leaving us on a great inspirational note. Thank you so much for joining me on this podcast today, Lamont.
April, I look forward to doing many more with you, my good friend.
All right. Well, take care, and everyone. We'll see you next time on the Pulse Podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. If you like what you heard, or if you have any questions about today's episode, reach out to us at global_marketing@apllogistics.com. Make sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast apps, and you won't miss any upcoming episodes. You can also find us on LinkedIn or visit us at apllogistics.com. We'll see you next time on the APLL Pulse Podcast.